Hi there, Ted Hargrave from marketingforhippies.com, and I've been wanting to record this little video for a bit, and it's about this. But what does it mean? So here's one of the things I've noticed is, let's say you're fundraising. If you talk to somebody, you say, hey, I'd like to talk to you about applying for some money or a grant or asking for a donation for a cause or having you support us in some way. That's very clean. It feels fine. People tend to just say, oh, yes or no, or yeah, let's make some time. Sure, well, tell me what it's about. There's something clean about being very direct with people. Now, and so it feels comfortable. If you never ask them for any money, that feels comfortable too, because they don't notice it. It's invisible, you know. It's where it's halfway. It's where we're kind of in the middle that it starts to feel uncomfortable. So if you were to talk to somebody and say, you know, I really enjoyed our conversation tonight at this party, and I think I might actually be able to help you with your situation. Would you be open to booking some time to talk about this? You know, it costs some money, of course, to hire me, but I just think I could help. I'm not sure, but I think it'd be worth a conversation. People will actually tend to feel fairly comfortable with that if you're just very direct about it. Now, if you're chatting with them, you have a delightful conversation, you never bring up your business, that will also feel comfortable because you never brought it up. It's when it's in between, when it's kind of lurking, that's when it feels uncomfortable. You say, oh, hey, wow, you're struggling with that. Yeah, you know, I do a lot of work on that in my workshops. You have one coming up. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That feels very uncomfortable for people because they can tell you're starting to imply that maybe this workshop would be good for them, but you don't just come out and say it. It's a kind of passive-aggressive move where you're hoping they're going to pick up on the hint and they know that's what you're hoping, and the whole thing feels hopelessly awkward. So it's when it's in the middle, or, you know, if you're in a social situation, let's just say there's somebody you're attracted to. If you just walked up to them and said, you know, hey, I'm so sorry to interrupt. This is so random, but I saw you from over there and you're so handsome, beautiful. I like your style. You know, you seem so gregarious. I just had to come up and say hello. I was going to kick myself all week if I didn't. And hello, you know. There might be some mild social awkwardness, but people tend to just receive that very positively. Oh, well, hey, thank you so much. And if they're dating somebody, they'll just say, oh, well, I'm seeing somebody right now, but thank you so much. You know, I've rarely had a bad experience with that. On either side, you know, whether I was the one approaching or being approached, when it's just direct, when it's clear, here are my intentions. Yeah, I remember talking with a friend of mine, Decker Kunoff, and he said, you know, creepy is veiled intentions. Sliminess is objectification. And these are different. But the creepiness, the veiled intentions, you can tell that maybe the person is attracted to you or wants you to come to their workshop, or they want you to give them money for a nonprofit. They can tell, they can feel it, but you're not saying it. The intention's veiled. I remember years ago in Santa Cruz going for dinner with a fellow. We wanted to fund a project that, you know, I was involved in. So we went out to this restaurant. It was a raw food restaurant called Roxanne's. Some of you may remember this. And sat down for the whole meal. And I thought the respectful thing would be just to befriend him, just to hang out. Let's be pals. And I don't know if at a certain point, just so, are you wanting to ask for money here? You know, and God bless my friend Ocean, who I was with, who took the reins and said, yes, this, but I was just so scared, you know, felt so ashamed of asking for money and thought, well, no, because he's rich, and so I don't want him to think that it's just about the money. And so it became a lurking thing, you know, where we're sitting down for a meal and he's just wondering, why the hell are we talking about this? Like, why are we meeting? Why did we get together? Because I was veiling the intention, because I was ashamed of it. This often happens in marketing. People are just ashamed of marketing. They think they're doing something wrong by talking about what they have to do. And so it turns into lurking. And so then it feels very awkward. Yeah, it can feel kind of creepy. Like you know, another example of this would be you're standing at the front of the room. And if you just said, look, I just want to pause, shameless plug moment. here, I've got a weekend workshop coming up. I'm pretty proud of it. Here's what's in it. Here's the cost. Here's who it's for. Here's who it's not for. Here's what it is. Here's what it's not. Here's how I do it. Here's how I don't do it. If you have any questions, come talk to me. People actually are fine with this. There's no big issue around this. And if they're not fine with it, well, whatever. So that's fine. If you don't talk about it, it's fine, because it's not been brought up, so there's nothing to react to. It's when it's in the middle, where it's anyways, I've got a weekend workshop coming up that I don't know. I think it could may be of use. But yeah, it's good. You see what I'm saying? When you get into that halfway, you're not really sharing, or you're talking about it all the time, but you're not just saying the thing. It feels very uncomfortable to people. So that's the diagram again. There's direct, there's lurking, and then there's unnoticed. When it's unnoticed, it's comfortable. When it's direct, it's comfortable. It's when it's lurking, it's when it's in the middle. But again, why do we lurk? What is this about? And I think a lot of it is about shame. There's this sense that, well, I shouldn't take up space. I'm doing a workshop, so I shouldn't even be mentioning what I do, but I have to, but I feel ashamed of it. And that tension, the foot on the gas and the foot on the brakes at the same time, creates this sort of halfway dynamic where you're just on the periphery. And this is very true physically. Like, this is maybe even the best example. If you just walk up to somebody and say hello, well, there you are. You've just said hello to them. That's if you don't sneak up from behind, if you just walk up to them and say, hey, excuse me, fine. There's no discomfort with that. Curiosity, who's this? Maybe, but not discomfort, not awkwardness. If they never see you, it's totally comfortable. Nothing's happening. But if you were to stand exactly at the periphery of their attention for a long time and stare at them, this would feel extremely uncomfortable. Yeah, that's the lurk. That's the what they can see. Who is this? Why are you standing there? They don't know. So it's very important that people that we share our intentions very clearly, or we don't approach. Either way, it's going to be fine. But if it's halfway, and you say, hey, we should go for coffee with somebody you actually want to have become a client. You go for coffee and you just hang out and you chat. They're going to feel that there's something off. They're going to feel that, there's something this person wants to talk about that they're not talking about. And they're either going to guess at it, say, they probably want to sell me now, but they're just taking their sweet time about it. You've had that too, where you've been in conversations and you can tell they're angling for something. You can tell they're trying to go somewhere. Actually, I just got called by a colleague, God bless him. And he actually offered to buy my business, which I said no to, but I was very flattered that he would. But he said, hey, let's have a call and catch up. And it was fine. It was good to catch up with him. It was great. But after half an hour, he said, so there is an ulterior motive to my call. I'm thinking, I know. I expected this. I didn't think you were actually wanting to just call and catch up. I played along with it because I thought, well, maybe it'll be cool. Maybe, who knows? I'm curious to see what his pitch is going to be, because I know there will be one. There's no aspersions towards him, but it's I knew something was coming. And let's just say we kept talking, and all of a sudden it's been an hour, and then an hour and a half. And he still hasn't said the thing, but I know it's there. This is very frustrating for people. I just think it's more respectful to be direct. One of the conversations I had with my friend Joel Solomon, who's a wonderful fellow in Vancouver in the alternative energy and philanthropy scene, social enterprise scene. People will approach him for money sometimes. And he said, I would just so much rather somebody come up and just say, hey, Joel, I got a project and I think you might like to fund it. We're looking for $10,000. That would feel better for him than somebody saying, hey, Joel, so good to see you. Hey, we should go for lunch and catch up sometime. Especially when you can feel, oh no, this is not for lunch, A lot of women might know this, where a guy says, let's just grab a coffee. Are you asking me on a date? No. Definitely not asking you on a date. But of course they are, and they can feel it. So when things are just clean, when they're transparent, when they're all put out on the table, it feels so much better. It feels so much cleaner. And if you can't do it, sometimes it's better just to be unnoticed, and learn how to do this and deal with the shame, whatever the shame is you're feeling. The shame that says you shouldn't say hello to people, that you shouldn't talk about your products and services, that you shouldn't ever invite somebody directly to work with you. All of this shame is if you're doing something wrong. If you have the sense that you're doing something wrong, I just invite you to question it. Yeah, I wrote a blog post about this. I'll see if I can put the link below. Anyways, this is a much longer, I thought this was going to be a very short video, but again, here's the chart, which I may rename, but I've never talked about this before in a workshop or in a video or anywhere actually before. It's my first time sharing it, so I imagine it'll change, but I'd be curious about your thoughts on it, any reflections that you have there. I think that's it for today. Thanks so much for stopping by. Bye.